So today is the day we have our in-person long-stay visa appointment so that we can get our long-stay visa for France. So we have just arrived at the building here in Coral Gables, Florida. If you look way up there, you can see flags from the U.S., France, and I'm not sure what the other flag is.
Drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together?
And here you are, ready for your interview. And in your hands, you've got folders. All of the information that's required. Whoops, careful there, don't poke an eye out.
They're heavy.
They are heavy. Let's go in and see what they ask. See if we can get you signed up for your long stay visa for France.
You too.
Yes, for both of us. All right, we're ready. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ann.
And mine's Jeff.
And we're Postcards from My Golden Years. Well,
Yes.
it's our golden years now.
It is our golden years.
We're so happy to see you and welcome, welcome, welcome to our newest subscribers. We are so happy that you have decided to become part of our group. So today, as promised, we're going to talk about our experience going for our long stay visa appointment. Did you have a good time, Jeff? Let's just start there.
Okay, well,
Did you have a good time?
yes.
All right, good.
We had a good time. And this was the last piece of the puzzle that we needed for our move to France.
Exactly. So, first of all, we went to the office that's referred to as the Miami office. But technically, it's in Coral Gables, Florida, which is, I guess it's a part of Miami or like a town like on the edge of Miami. Technically, it's in Coral Gables. It's an office building. And you would only know that this building has the VFS office. VFS is the company that processes the paperwork for the long stay visas. It's not the French embassy. It's not the French consulate. I guess it's a company, maybe a subcontractor that's been created to accept paperwork. And at this building, on the outside, they have a flag of France, they had a flag of Spain, they had a flag of the US, and I think that was it on the top of the building.
Right.
And then when you get there, I guess there are other things in the building, maybe bank and other things. So you have to take the elevator up to, I guess it was penthouse 1, maybe?
Yes.
One of the penthouses. And when you get up there, it says VFS on the door. So,
And there is the door is locked. There's a security guard at the desk when you get to the door.
so we like to be early for things. We didn't want to be late. So we had gotten to that area. Our appointment was at 1:20. We got to the area, I guess, at about 11:30, and we went and had lunch first, and then we walked over to the building.
Yeah.
When we got to the building, it was about 25 of 1. And again, our appointment was at 1:20. So we went up to the VFS office. And we rang the bell at the door, and the guard came to the door. And we showed her the paper that said we have an appointment. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I can't let you in now, it's too early." And we said, "Well, couldn't we just come in and wait?" And we're looking right through the door at empty seats. We said, we'll just sit right there and wait till our time. We won't bother anybody. And she said,
Nope.
nope, not
Nope.
allowed to let you in until 20 minutes before your appointment
Which would have been
at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Right.
So-
So she shut the door, and then we turn around and we look on the wall in the hallway, and it says, no waiting in the hallway.
So tell the story.
So we got here early. It's 12:30. Our appointment is at 1:20, and she won't let us in early, even to just sit down. So she told us to come back at 1 o'clock. So we'll be back.
And
We can't even.
waiting in the hallway.
So we have to go all the way back downstairs and find something outside to sit on.
So, here we are, back to the elevator, down to the lobby, outside, waiting for our 20 minutes to burn off so we can go back up.
Right. So we had to sit on like
Planter wall.
planter walls outside the building. So here we are, Jeff. Are you all excited?
We are. We're here for our interview for our long stay visas.
Today's the day. Wish us luck.
So, Ann, what have we learned today? Although you wanted to be here extra early, we went up to the office, we showed them our appointment, and we were about an hour early. And the receptionist was very cordial, very nice. And you said, you have chairs right here in the waiting room. What was her response to we have chairs in your waiting room? What did she say?
She said, there are too many people in here already. It's full. I can't, not even to sit in those chairs.
So we could not even sit on the chairs. So, as a result,
She said to come back and she'll let us in 20 minutes before our appointment time
so you'll be going back
at 1 o'clock.
at 1 o'clock. But right now, here you are, sitting like a homeless person
Sitting like a
on a planter wall because there's no chairs for you to sit anywhere. Boo hoo hoo. Boo hoo hoo. Well, hopefully, when we get there, they'll have a chair for us when our appointed time. So the point is, show up close to your appointment time.
no more than 20 minutes ahead.
I would say show up 10 minutes before your appointment
She
time.
said you're allowed to show up 20 minutes ahead.
But I would say show up 10 minutes before your appointment time, and that way you can sit in the chair and wait for your appointment to be called. That's what we have learned today.
Because there are no benches, there's no accommodation for waiting. So plan ahead if you're going to that office. No place to wait inside. Don't count on getting in before 20 minutes before your appointment, and nothing to sit on. So we went back at 1 o'clock, rang the bell again. She came, and this time she let us in. And you go into a room with a bunch of people sitting. There's no place to sign in. There is no direction on what to do there. All you see are 3 stations off to the side and 2 women sitting there, and they're talking to people. And so we didn't know, do we have to tell them we're here? What do we have to do? We sat there for, I want to say, about a half hour past our appointment time before somebody said to us, she started calling names out. So I guess she had the list of people who had appointments. And she called names out and then identified us. And then that's it. When we stood up, she said, no, I just wanted to see if you're here. So Jeff and I were sitting there kind of talking among ourselves.
Yep.
And some guy came in. Now there are doors on the side there. Some guy came in, and there's a door number 4. And he just walks in and walks through the door and then comes back out. And Jeff is whispering to me, and you said,
I think that's where the rich people go to get their visa, because they just walk right in and walk right out. They don't have to wait in the waiting room.
So meanwhile, we're just whispering among ourselves.
Right.
So then Jeff gets a piece of paper, the back of our appointment paper, and he starts drawing the room. Now he's an architect, so he's doing like an architectural drawing. And I'm whispering to him, don't do that, don't do that. They're gonna think you're casing the joint. Don't draw pictures of it. So
But
he's ignoring me, but we're whispering the whole time. And we're just talking among ourselves, whisper, 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 whisper.
And
Did
there's
you bring your picture?
There's a sign on the wall. The sign says no cell phones, no photographs, like in a courtroom. So
Right.
I'm thinking when any people goes to these courtroom hearings, there's always an artist that does like a little sketch of the courtroom. So I was doing my artist sketch of what it's like to be at the long stay visa office.
So did you bring a copy of that little drawing that you did, Jeff?
Why, I do. I happen to have a little photo of the inside of the office. You'll see there's a blue window and 3 workstations, and workstation 1, 2, 3, and the magic door number 4. If you can get to magic door number 4, you can instantly get your visa. We don't know how that happens.
We don't know that for a fact.
We don't know that for a fact. We just sat there and watched it happen though.
So the whole time we're whispering back and forth.
Yes.
And finally, one of the women behind the counter, she starts laughing and she goes, you guys, you can stop whispering. I can hear everything you're saying.
So she has really good hearing.
So if you go into that room, anything you whisper, they can hear behind the counter.
Yes.
So actually, everybody in the room started laughing.
Yes.
When she said, you guys can stop whispering, I can hear everything you're saying.
Right.
So anyway, our time came for them to ask for our documents. So they called us together because...
Now, one of the things that we noticed, we're sitting there nervously going through our paperwork. And in the paperwork, one of the forms says, please have your paperwork arranged in this order.
Right.
And we had not done that. So luckily that extra hour and a half that we sat there, we were able to get our paperwork all arranged like it says on the application, one thing after another.
Yeah, that was the thing that I had missed on the appointment paper. It says, bring all of these documents with you and have them in this order.
Arranged in
We
this order.
had them in these portfolios. Folders, wait. So I had brought all of our things in a portfolio like this, and it had all these dividers with all the different forms that we had. And then Jeff had one that matched because a lot of our things were duplicate, and in some cases, like some of the bank accounts he had were just in his name, not in my name. So he had one, I had one. He found this lettering somewhere out in our garage. He put a J on his, an A on mine, and we had it. So I just thought that when we got to the counter, they'd say, show me this, show me that, and we would just pull out the forms. But no, the paper says, have your papers arranged in this order. So have your papers arranged in that order, and you don't have to worry about it at the end.
Right.
So one thing I need to respond to is some people had asked me, because I had been married a few times before, I had marriage licenses and divorce papers for those marriages. Because I thought on the application that I did online, it asked me to put all of the names that I had ever used. So I listed my maiden name and each marriage name. And I thought, well, then maybe they're going to ask me how I got from my maiden name to my current last name, and they'd want to see all the documentation in between. So I had everything, a folder for each marriage. So when we got called up, the woman, she went through all of our paperwork and decided, what things she wanted, what things she didn't.
Right.
We stapled everything. Let me tell you, she pulled all the staples out of everything. So you'll save her a lot of time if you pull the staples out.
Or don't staple.
Yeah, or don't staple, exactly. Let's see what else there
And
was.
what you were stapling like a bank account that had 4 pages, you were stapling it together.
Right, she took the staples
She takes
right
staples
out.
yeah.
She gave me back, I had multiple bank accounts, she gave me back everything on one of them. And I said to her, well, this supports my income to prove that I have sufficient money to live on for that year. And she said, I don't need it. I don't need it. And I said, well, won't the embassy need it? And she said, I don't need it. I don't need it. So, okay. So she didn't need it. So then I said to her, do you need all my marriage licenses and divorce papers for my prior marriages? And she laughed and she said, is that what all those names were on your application? She said, I saw all those names. She said, no, I just need to know who you are now and who you're married to now.
Right.
So she just needed that. I also had a certified long version copy of each of our birth certificates. They didn't even ask for those.
Right.
I do know that we're going to need those, I believe, for trading in, for exchanging our driver's licenses when we get into France, and we need to exchange our Florida license for France license. So I'm glad we have those.
Yep.
I also had duplicate copies of driver's license we had requested, so that even though we're exchanging our Florida license for a France license, we have a duplicate copy that we requested, so that if we want to rent a car back in the US or even in France initially, until we get our France driver's license, we'll have our Florida driver's license for identification.
Right.
So she went through all of the paperwork, and after they do the paperwork, then they tell you that you're going to go into room number, I don't remember what the room number was, and this is where...
It's the room called Biometric.
Yes, biometric.
Biometric. It's next to door 4. Yes.
It's not where the rich people go, it's just
No.
where the next
Rich
step in the
people go
process.
in door 4. The poor people go in biometric door.
So we went into one at a time. They call you into the biometric door, and the woman who has gone through your paperwork meets you back in behind that other door, and now you're going to have your fingerprints done, and it's electronic. So they go to take my fingerprints on the first hand, and everything shows up except my ring finger has no fingerprints.
What? No
And
fingerprints?
so she thought, well, there's something wrong. So she said, well, let me do the other hand. So I did the other hand, and sure enough, my ring finger on that hand has no fingerprint. It just, no
What?
lines.
What?
And
No
so
fingerprints?
she's like a little flustered, like, oh, I don't know what to do here. So she said, okay, we're going to try this again. Now I want you to press down with your other hand on your ring finger and push everything else down. So we did it again. And again, my ring finger had no lines on it. Did the same thing on the other hand, no lines on it. And I looked at her and she said, you know, it happens on occasion. She asked me what kind of work I did, because she said sometimes from whatever people do for a living, it wears the
ridges
prints,
off. Yeah.
wears the prints off your fingers. And I said, well, I can explain maybe on my left hand, maybe from the all the marriages, it's those wedding rings coming on and going off.
You wore
So
down the
she
ridges.
laughed, and I said to her, is this going to be a problem? And she just laughed and she said, I don't think so. She said, we'll just send it in.
We'll see what
she
happens.
said, you know, you got 8 good fingerprints, so
Right.
so we have it. And then Jeff went in, and you had no problem, right?
I had 10 fingerprints, so they all worked for me.
All right.
All right.
So I figured, you know, if I'm going to commit crimes in France, I'll use my ring finger, and they won't know it's me.
She didn't really say that. That's not really what she meant to say. So then they sent our paperwork off, and we received an email right away saying that our paperwork had been sent up to Washington, D.C.,
And a text, an email and a text message.
that it had been sent off and was being processed. So we're now in the waiting game for the long stay visas and the passports to be sent back to our home here in Florida.
Yes. Well, actually, the strange thing was 2 days after we had the appointment, last Sunday, well, actually, by the time you're seeing it, it was 2 Sundays ago, I got an email saying that my package from VFS was going to be delivered the next day, that it had been sent and was going to be delivered the next day. And it was like, wow, they already got it and they're processing it on a weekend? And I thought, okay, this must mean there's something wrong. It must be because of my fingerprints.
No.
So I just kept watching, and then all of a sudden on Monday, when that package was supposed to be delivered, UPS sent me an updated tracking, and it said, your package has been delayed, we'll notify you when we have more information. And all that it said in the tracking was label created.
So they made a label to send it back to us, but they hadn't sent it back yet.
Right. And then a few days later, I guess actually this past Thursday, which by the time you're seeing it will be over a week, I got another message. We both got another message. I got an email and a text, and it said that it was in the hands of the processing center in Washington,
Right.
being processed. So I thought, okay, well, you know, if they're in processing it, it's going to happen any minute. How long can it take to process it? Well, apparently it doesn't take that short a time, because I think that was Thursday. We are recording this on Sunday, the Sunday before you're watching this, and we still have not gotten any further information on our visas. So maybe at the beginning of this week, we will get notification, and maybe by the time you're watching it, we will already have our passports and visas back.
So we're hoping it'll be 2 to 3 weeks, and 3 to 4 weeks we'll get stuff sent back to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some other people have asked, as a result of the last video that actually was published today, a few people asked, what was the process like? Was it an easy process? Was it scary? Was there a lot of pressure? It was very easy. I mean, the hardest thing was just making sure the papers were all in order, and then for me, dealing with the fact that I was missing a fingerprint.
Yeah.
The women who processed, at least at the Miami location, they were very nice ladies, very sweet, they were engaging, they were funny, they were making jokes. Jeff was making jokes. I mean, it was a very
low stress
atmosphere. You know, I had been very worried about, you know, how's this going to go? What kind of questions are they going to ask us? They really didn't ask us anything. It was all in the papers.
In the papers, yeah.
The one woman, I think she said to you, everything looks good or something?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't say that to me, but, you know, we're a couple. So I think since both of our documents, for the most part,
were identical
other than some bank accounts, I think we have nothing to worry about. My only concern, I'm still concerned about my missing fingerprints.
That's okay.
But hopefully that's not going to be an issue. And hopefully, as I said, by the time you're watching it, we will have our long stay visas, all excited, and be on our way. So, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. It's just a little update so you know how things are going with us. Our packing is well underway, and we hope to, by the end of the day that you are watching this video, we hope to be done all the packing, all the stuff that's being donated. We hope for that to all be gone, and us just counting down the days until we get on that plane with Bella and head off into the sunset to our new life in Nice.
Yes.
Took some time, but we pointed out that tomorrow isn't here right now, baby. An absent mind came to roam around. Captured you in a foggy cloud, baby. Standing on my toes on the edge, I'm ready to go. See it clear when the shadows are lit, I'm ready to go. I'm taking.
So thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.
Au revoir.